right, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just a moment here. Just go ahead and find your space. Start to get yourself prepared for your practice today. Yeah, we'll just take another moment here before we get started. Got a few people here, so welcome. Thanks for joining this morning. Just really quick before we start, we've got this week and then next week of classes, and that will wrap up for the summer. But all of our workouts have been recorded and they're on the UL Rec Sports YouTube page, and you can find all of the classes there, including all of our yoga classes from the summer. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started today. We are gonna start lying down on our mat or the floor, whatever surface we're using today. So as you make your way there, start to get comfortable. Welcome to yoga, my name's Tess. We've got a 45-minute practice today. We're just gonna move through a few different flows at a slower pace, just get ourselves ready for the rest of our day. All right, as we prepare here, you can find what feels best, either having your arms on your belly, hands out to the side. We can extend our legs or keep our knees up towards the sky. And just gently letting our eyes close here. Just starting to prepare ourselves today for this practice. Taking some time to let all of our other tasks, all of our to-do lists, our priorities, just letting them leave our head for the next 45 minutes, knowing that they'll be there when we come back, but giving us this time to recharge, to release some stress or some tension, to come back at the rest of our day at our best. Starting to bring your attention to the room you're in. Paying attention to the noises around, the sounds. The temperature of the room, the surface that you're on. And then bringing our attention onto our mat or onto the space we're flowing on today. Noticing how our body meets the ground. Noticing how our clothes rest on us. And then beginning to think internally. Thinking about our breath. Thinking about any points of stress or tension in our body that maybe we want to pay a little bit more attention to today. And bringing ourselves to an intention for our practice today. What do we want to focus on? What is something we want to work into each of our poses today? What's going to drive our practice? And as we think about that, we begin to think about our breath as well. Noticing if we're breathing more from our belly or more from our chest and shoulders. And if it's not already there, trying to move that breath to focus our breathing through our belly, using our diaphragm to help expand our lungs. And then help them contract to release that air. Now focusing on where we're inhaling and exhaling from. As we breathe in, we want to breathe in through our nose, warming that air as it moves in through our nose to our throat and into our lungs. And as we exhale, exhaling through our nose or mouth, maybe trying both and seeing what feels better for us today. Beginning to deepen our breath here. Expanding our lungs. And then thinking about using our breath to warm up our arms and our legs. Starting with our legs first and using some imagery here as we inhale, we breathe in that air flowing in through our nose, into our throat to our chest, through our hips to our thighs, our knees, our calves, through our ankles, all the way to our toes. And as we exhale, pulling that breath back out from the toes to the ankles, to the calves, through our knees, to our thighs, to our hips, up through our belly, to our chest, through our throat, to our nose or mouth. Strong, powerful inhales and exhales here, strong enough for that air to make it all the way to our toes. And exhaling strong enough to pull that breath back out. And as we inhale, we're inhaling positivity, relaxation, release. And as we exhale, we're pulling out and expelling any negativity, any tension, any stress. And on our next breath in, we move our air to our arms, breathing in through our nose to our throat to our chest, into our shoulders, through our upper arms, to our elbows to forearms, through our wrists, all the way to our fingertips. Breathing in a strong breath, letting that air all the way to the tips of our fingers. And as we exhale, we pull that breath back out from fingertips to wrists to forearms, through our elbows to our upper arms to shoulders, through the chest, up through the throat to the nose or the mouth. Breathing in positivity, relaxation, and release. Exhaling, pulling out any tension, any negativity, any stress. On our next inhale, we're going to plant our feet onto our mat, bringing them in towards our hips, bringing our knees up towards the sky, grounding our low back. As we inhale, we're going to come into a pelvic tilt. We're peeling just our tailbone, the very tip of our spine off the mat, grounding our low back. And exhale, we release. A very small movement here. This helps us to start engage our abdominal muscles in the front of our core. And that helps to stabilize through our core to support our low back. A lot of different yoga poses. Inhaling, coming into that pelvic tilt. Exhale, we release. Just a small movement here. Starting to feel those abdominal muscles, the top of your belly start to warm here. Good. And as you feel comfortable, and if you'd like, as we inhale into that pelvic tilt, we continue peeling our spine off the mat, lifting our hips, keeping that tailbone curl, coming into a bridge. And as we exhale, just as we peel that spine off, we're going to slowly roll that spine back down, ending with the release of that pelvic tilt. Good. Inhale, pelvic tilt. We add in that bridge, peeling that spine if we'd like to. And exhaling, releasing that bridge. Nice and controlled movements here, moving with that breath. If we're coming into a bridge, we want to make sure that our knees are staying in line with our toes and our hips. They're going to want to move out to the side or cave in. We want to keep them nice and straight here. As we lift those hips, we're pushing our weight through the heels of our feet, engaging our glute muscles, and keeping that pelvic tilt to keep the abdominal muscles engaged. Good. On your next exhale, we're going to go ahead and just let our spine rest on that mat. We're going to move to our upper body, warming up the muscles here. As we inhale, our hands are going to come up straight towards the sky. We're going to reach up, pulling those shoulder blades away from each other. And exhale, we're going to release those hands back behind us so our upper arms are at either side of our head. Good. We're going to reach those hands back. We're going to straighten those legs. We're going to come into a nice good morning stretch, stretching those fingertips and those toes as far away from each other as possible. And exhale, we release that stretch. On our next breath in, our hands are going to come back up towards the sky, and exhale, they're going to continue to fall back down to our sides. Inhale, our hands come back up towards the sky, and exhale, they fall back behind our head. Continuing this movement here, keeping this arching or this rainbow motion with our hands. Following your breath at your own pace. Inhale, our hands rise. Exhale, they fall. Reaching those fingertips a little bit further up towards the sky. And taking your time, the next time that your hands meet your side, we're going to go ahead and let them rest there. Good. And once you're there, we're going to plant our feet, bringing our eye, and then taking your time, we're going to roll ourselves either to the left or the right side and make our way into a seated position here. Good. Starting with the legs crossed here. We have option to sit like this. If this isn't comfortable for you or it's not your preferred pose, we can also bring our feet straight out. Toes come up towards the sky, pulling them back towards the shins into staff pose. So got a couple of different options here. So find what feels good for you. As we inhale, our hands are going to come up and around. We're going to let those shoulders release back down. So anytime our arms are going to be up in the air today in our practice, and any other time, we want to think about keeping those shoulders down. Keep that space for your head here from side to side. As we exhale, we're going to come to the right side first. Our right hand's going to meet the mat. We're going to slowly curl that hand out, keeping both of our sit bones grounded onto the mat. Good, so we're avoiding those hips lifting up. We're reaching up and over here. Still keeping that space around our head, keeping our chest nice and open here. You have the option to bring our gaze up towards the sky if we'd like. Every inhale, we want to think about lengthening our spine. And as we exhale, if we'd like to, we can sink a little bit deeper. Again, making sure that our hips stay grounded onto the floor or mat. Breathing through the stretch here. Feeling the left side stretching out. Good. As we inhale, we crawl our right hand back in just a bit. We rise back up, arms coming towards the ceiling, shoulders stay down. Exhale, we come over to the left side, crawling that hand out. Right hand comes up and over, keeping our hips grounded here. Breathing through this stretch with the option to bring our gaze up towards the ceiling. You might notice that we've got some tightness on one side and you might feel a little bit looser on the other, and that's totally normal. Inhale, we crawl that hand back in, bringing our arm back up towards the ceiling. And exhale, we're gonna bring our hands forward towards our mat, but we're gonna keep our chest nice and open. Our back is nice and flat here. So we're not quite gonna collapse yet, and keep our back flat. We're not gonna get too far on this stretch here. Keeping that chest open, keeping that spine nice and long, keeping that spine straight. Taking a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, go ahead and fall forward, letting your hands crawl out in front of you. And then letting your head and neck relax here. Maybe your forehead meets the mat. Good. If this is a little bit too intense and you want something to rest your head on, you can use a block. You can use some books. Or we can take our fists and stack them and rest our forehead on top of our fists here as well. So knowing that we have all these options here today. As we inhale, we're gonna roll from the bottom to the top of our spine, back up, nice and tall. Good. So if we have our legs crossed, we're gonna uncross them and recross them the opposite way. So look at which leg is closer. We're gonna go ahead and switch that. And if you're in staff pose with your legs extended, just stay right where you are. Good. As we inhale, we're gonna sit nice and tall. Finding our good posture, finding our sit bones. Good. And on our next inhale, our hands are gonna come up around. And exhale, you're gonna fall forward, keeping that nice flat back. Arms crawl out. Maybe we get a little bit further on this side than the other. With our legs crossed this way. Or maybe we're a little bit tighter through one of our hips, and that's fine as well too. Keeping that chest open, those shoulders are down and back. Spine is long. Inhale, we take that big deep breath in, fill our lungs. Exhale, we collapse forward, crawling those hands out, finding what's good for us today, letting our head and our neck relax here. Inhale, we're gonna roll up from the base of the spine, ending with the head. Good. We're gonna go ahead and swing our feet around behind us. We're gonna meet in tabletop, so we've got our shoulders over our wrists, we've got hips over our knees. We find a nice flat back, so it's really easy to find a dip. Sometimes we come with a little arch. But for our base of our tabletop, we wanna be nice and flat here. Good. What we're gonna do is curl our toes under, and we're gonna meet back into our first down dog. If you're confident with your down dog, go ahead and get yourself there now. If not, I'm gonna walk you through it. So we've got our toes curled, we've got our fingertips spread nice and wide. We're gonna lift our hips up and back, straightening those legs. We want to make sure our fingers are spread nice and wide here. We've got a slight bend to the elbows. Our shoulders are pushing away from our ears. Our chest is pushing back towards our knees. Our hips are lifting up and back, and our heels are reaching towards the floor. Whether they're touching the floor or not does not matter. Good. We can walk out the dog here, alternating, pushing each heel into the floor, bending the other knee. Good. We're checking our feet. They should be about hip width distance apart. Good. Maybe pushing back a little bit further into that down dog, feeling that stretch through our hamstrings. And as we inhale, we're going to shift our weight forward either to a plank or a kneeling plank, whichever feels best, as long as our back is nice and flat here. And then exhale, if we're in a tall plank or a kneeling plank, we can lower knees, chest, or chin, or we can lower chaturanga, our body all at once. Either way, we've got those elbows nice and tight tucked into our sides. Inhale, we lift into baby cobra, just a small little lift here. Exhale, we're going to meet back in down dog. So if we need to, we lift up to our hips and then to down dog. Good. We're going to move through this flow a few more times. This is our vinyasa. So we move forward, we come into tall plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, we lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, we lower. Inhale, we shift up. Our other option here is upward facing dog. We lift up, shoulders push back. We've got our glutes nice and tight, and we lift onto the tops of our feet. Exhale, we meet back into down dog. Good. Continuing to move through this, mixing and matching, trying each of these options. We move through our vinyasa. Moving with our breath. Good. On our inhales, we move into plank. Exhale, we lower chaturanga, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, we come into baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we move to down dog. Moving through one more time, so finish where you're at and then move through one full vinyasa here. And we'll meet back in down dog. Good. Bringing our gaze forward, we're either going to walk or hop our knees to our we're going to hop or walk our toes to our hands. If we're going to hop, we're going to bend our knees, come nice and tall on our toes, bring our gaze forward, and gently leap forward. Good. Coming into a forward fold, we let our body hang here, let our head and neck relax. Maybe we move a little side to side here. Good. On our next inhale, we're going to lift halfway to flat back. And exhale, we're going to come down once more into forward fold. For a little bit deeper, we can wrap our hands onto our Achilles or forearms, meeting to the back of our calves. Good. Planting our hands on the ground. When we inhale, we're going to bring and bend into our knees. We're going to flatten our back. We're hinging from the hips, arms come out and around. Rising up. And exhale, we're going to step our right foot or our left foot back behind us. We're going to open up that foot about a 45-degree angle. We're bending into that front knee, coming into warrior one. We're pushing through the outer edge of both of our feet. Our shoulders are down and back. Our left hip pushes forward. And we're making sure that our right knee is staying behind our toes. Good. Exhale, we open up into warrior two. In our warrior two, we're pushing through the outer edge of both of our feet. We've got our hips tucked under our front knees in line with our toes. It might want to fall in or go out to the side, so we want to check on that. Make sure it's in alignment. Shoulders are down and back, arms are long. We bring our gaze over our front middle finger. And our front hand is going to be the hand over our bent knee. Inhale, we flip our front hand, we reach forward. Exhale, we come up and around, coming into reverse warrior. So our left hand's either meeting at our lower leg or upper leg, just avoiding that point right at our knee joint. Sinking a little bit deeper, thinking about keeping that knee right over the ankle in the front, avoiding that knee caving in or out. Inhale, we're gonna cartwheel our arms all the way around. Right forearm is gonna meet our right thigh. Left arm comes up and over, extended side angle. Good, we're gonna flow back and forth between this pose and reverse warrior. So we're keeping bent through that knee. Inhale, we're coming up and around, reverse warrior. Good, and exhale, we're gonna come forward. Good, we're gonna start to move a little bit quicker with our breath here. So every inhale, we come to reverse warrior. Every exhale, we're gonna be back in this extended side angle. So we inhale, we move up and over. Exhale, we come back. Thinking about using the muscles in our core here and our sides to help lift ourselves up, moving through these poses. Moving with our breath. Maybe we start to breathe a little bit quicker here. And on our next exhale, we rest back into our extended side angle. We start to straighten our front leg, and our hand is either going to meet our shin or it can come down to the floor. As long as we're not starting to cave forward, that's the point we want to move back up a bit. Good, we're pushing back and up through that left hip. Our left arm is going to reach straight up towards the sky here. Again, we have the option to bring our gaze up towards the sky, a little bit of a balance challenge here. Keeping our spine long and our chest open. Good, maybe we reach that hand towards the floor, or if we have a block or something else to rest our hand on. Good, and on our next inhale, we're gonna make our way back to standing. Arms come out to the side. Our toes are gonna both point forward here. Exhale, our hands come down, rolling out those shoulders a little bit here. Good. We're gonna move through a bit of a goddess flow here. So as we inhale, our hands are gonna come up and around, reaching towards the sky. Shoulders stay down and back. As we exhale, our elbows are gonna come down towards our sides, and our knees are gonna bend. We're sitting our hips back. So as we exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise back up. Good. Exhale, we lower. Good. We're pushing those shoulder blades down and back. Our hands are nice and wide. We're activating all of those muscles in our arms here, creating a circle. Good. Keeping those hips back behind us. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise up. And on our next exhale, slight bend in the knees, hips lift back. We're gonna swan dive forward. Forward fold with our legs nice and wide here. Letting our head and neck hang. Maybe swaying again side to side here. Good. We're gonna crawl our hands over towards our left foot. We're gonna begin to rotate those toes so that our left foot is pointed forward, our back foot's opening up about a 45-degree angle. We find a bend in our front knee. Inhale, we find a flat back, arms come forward, we rise up into warrior one on the other side. Shoulders are down and back, pushing through the outer edge of both feet. Right hip pushes forward, left knee is right above that foot or right in line with that foot. Holding nice and strong here. If your arms are tired, you're welcome to either bring them to heart center or we come up and rest at our sides, whichever feels best for you right now. And exhale, we're gonna open up. Warrior two with our left leg in front. Gonna be pushing through the outer edge of both of our feet, our left knees over those toes. We've got that pelvic tilt, tucking those hips under. We're nice and tall, shoulders are down and back, arms extended, our gaze comes over our left middle finger this time. Continuing to breathe through this stretch here. Got our weight balanced into both of our feet. Inhale, we flip our front hands. Exhale, we reach up and over, reverse warrior. Again, our right hand either finds our thigh or our calf, avoiding being right on that knee joint. Good. Our reach here might be a little different than on the other side. Sink a little deeper into that front leg, making sure again that knee's not going to fall in or out. Bringing our gaze up towards the sky. Looking towards potential and reaching for support here. And our next inhale, we cartwheel those arms around. Left forearm meets left thigh. Right arm comes up and over, extended side angle. Good. We're trying to create that one line here from our left foot to from our right foot to our right fingertips. Good. Inhale, we return to our reverse warrior. Holding here for just a moment. And then we're going to begin moving with our breath here just as we did on the other side. Exhale, we come forward, or inhale, we come forward into extended side angle. Exhale, we rotate up and over into reverse warrior. Good, continuing to move with our breath here. Inhaling, extended side angle. Exhale, reverse warrior. Good, continuing this flow, noticing how your breath changes, the pace of your breath as we begin to move through this here. And on our next exhale, we meet back in extended side angle. That front leg straightens. Our left hand is going to meet either our thigh, our shin, or the floor. Our right hand comes straight up towards the sky. We bring our gaze up towards the ceiling for a little bit of a balance challenge. Or we keep our gaze out to the side if that's more comfortable for us today. We're pushing up and back through our hips. Chest is nice and open. Our spine is long. If we're collapsing towards the floor, we bring ourselves up just a little bit. Exhale, our right hand meets the floor. We're going to step our left foot back behind us, coming into a down dog. Good. Walking out the dog, alternating bending those feet. And we're going to move through a round of our vinyasa, shifting forward to tall plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, we lower chaturanga. Inhale, we rise up, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we meet back into down dog. Good. Doing a little bit of shoulder and core work, we're going to shift forward into our plank or kneeling plank here. And as we exhale, we're going to reach those hips up and back for down dog. We're going to continue to shift between these two poses here. Good. As we come into our plank, we want to make sure we're keeping that back nice and flat here. Whether we're in a full plank or a kneeling plank, we want to make sure our back is flat. And on our next exhale, we're going to go ahead and lower our knees into tabletop. We're going to bring our big toes to meet, bring our knees a little bit wider than hips with distance apart, sinking our hips back, reaching our arms forward and come into child's pose. Our arms reach forward, our shoulder blades melt towards the sides of our mat. We go ahead and we rest our forehead onto our mat. Inhale. We make our way back into tabletop. Good. And coming into a side plank, we've got two options here. What we can do is either start in a full plank, and we can rotate open to one side, extending our arm. Our feet are 1 foot in front of the other. Our other option here is to bring those knees down into a side plank. Our back leg or our left leg, whatever side, is going to open up like a kickstand to the side, and we open up here. And if we're in this position here, we want to take the right foot, the extended leg, we want to try to bring more of our weight into that leg, starting to feel those oblique muscles. All right, so what we're going to do is either start in our plank or kneeling plank. We're going to open up to one side here, arm extends towards the ceiling, holding for just a few breaths here. Exhale, we lower down, finding our plank or kneeling plank. We rotate to the other side, opening up just a few breaths here. And exhale, we lower. We bring our knees down into tabletop and come once more into child's pose. Reaching our hips towards our heels as far as we're able to get them. Good. As we inhale, we're going to roll our spine up. Good. We're going to come to a kneeling position here. Just coming up on our knees, nice and tall. We're going to take our right leg first. We're going to extend it out towards the side. Coming into a gate stretch here. We've got that right foot out. We're nice and tall through our left leg. As we inhale, our hands come up and around. Exhale, our right hand's going to meet either our thigh or our calf, whichever is going to give you the best stretch that is going to challenge you a bit but not be too uncomfortable. We're trying to keep our hip right over our knee of that left leg. Feeling this stretch through our left side, keeping that chest open still. So if you feel really scrunched up, I'm going to let that shoulder relax back there. Now on our next inhale, we're going to bring our hands up and over. And exhale, we're going to come to the left side this time, kind of like we were right in that side plank here. Good. We're keeping the weight into this left leg here though, and focusing a little bit more on the reach of that right arm up and over. Feeling that stretch through our right side, keeping that chest nice and open here. Good. Inhale, we use our core here. We push off a little bit with our arm. We rise back up. And exhale, we're going to bring our hands forward. We're keeping our back nice and flat here. As we reach, getting a nice deep stretch through that right inner thigh. Good. So as I move here, keeping my back nice and flat and keeping my hips over that knee. Good, and if you're comfortable, we can begin to bring our weight down onto our forearms. Coming into a little bit of a puppy pose with that right leg extended out to the side. Good, on our next inhale, if we have our forearms down, we rise ourselves back up onto our hands, and we bring ourselves all the way back up to kneeling, and we bring that right knee back in. Feeling nice stretched out on the right side. We move to the left. We take our left leg out towards the side. Good. If this is a lot of pressure on your knee, we can double up on our mat or put a shirt or something beneath our knee to help with that comfort. As we inhale, our hands come up and over, shoulders stay down. Exhale, we find our thigh or our calf. We come up and over with that right arm. Good. Keeping our hip stacked over our knee for that right leg. Reaching a little bit further with that right arm. Continuing with our breathing here as well. For our right foot, we can either have our foot flat onto the ground, or we can bring those feet stacked. See which feels better for your knee. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. Now, as we inhale, we rise back up, shoulders stay down. Exhale, we come to the right side, keeping our hips stacked over our knee of that right leg. Arm comes up and over. We really reach with that arm, getting that stretch through the left side. You might not feel it quite as much on this side as you did on the other because we have stretched this side out a little bit more. Nice and long here. And be stretching out that right foot a little bit further. Inhale, we rise back up. And exhale, hands plant forward, kind of like we're in a tabletop here. Maybe we stretch our hands a little bit further. Maybe we bring our forearms to the ground. Trying to keep that right hip over the right knee. Back is flat. Good. Inhale, we're going to bring ourselves up to our hands. We're going to stay right here. We're just going to tuck that left knee back under, coming into tabletop here. Good. Exhale, we're going to sit back onto our feet. We're going to make our way, rolling over onto our back as we prepare for our final relaxation of our practice, Shavasana. And we find a place on our back that feels most comfortable for us. Our hands are at our sides with our palms facing up towards the sky. You can tuck your shoulder blades under. You want to think about keeping that low back grounded into the mat. Good. We can either leave our knees up towards the sky. We can scoot those feet out towards the edges of our mat and let our knees fall in together. This will bring you some relief if you have a tight low back. Or we can extend our legs straight out. You can let your feet fall out towards the side, coming into corpse pose. So taking a moment to find what's going to feel best for you, let your body settle. Just letting our breath flow naturally here. And just letting ourselves calm as we come into this relaxation. Get out any of the creaks, maybe roll out our wrists, roll out our ankles here. And we start to settle, finding a stillness. Letting our eyes closed and beginning to let our mind wander. Relaxing our whole body. We come through a stand, starting with our toes and our feet. Relaxing through our ankle and our calf. Relaxing the muscles around our knees and our thighs. Relaxing our hip and our glute muscles. Relaxing our abdominal, oblique, and our back muscles. Relaxing our fingers, letting them curl in naturally. Relax your wrists, your forearm. Relax through the elbows and the upper arms, the bicep and tricep muscles. Relax your shoulders. Release the tension from your jaw, moving your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Relax your cheeks, your forehead, the space between your eyebrows, and all of the little muscles surrounding your eyes. Let your body melt into the mat. Just letting yourself be mind and body. Coming into a state of relaxation. Being mindful about how your body feels right now. Bring ourselves out of this relaxation. We start by just wiggling our fingers and our toes. Then we can begin to move our arms and legs side to side, just rolling them back and forth. Maybe we let our head start to fall from one side to the other. As you're ready, we're going to plant our feet back onto our mat, bringing them towards our hips. Knees come towards the sky. Good. We're going to let our knees fall to the side. We're going to bring one hand on top of the other as we come into fetal position, using our head or our arms as a pillow. And coming into this position to represent our new beginning after our practice, representing the new start we have. When we're ready, we're going to push ourselves up, getting ourselves up to a seated position, making our way to a position that's comfortable with our legs crossed or our legs extended, whichever feels best for you. Good. And once we all meet here, taking one last breath together as we inhale, our hands come up and around, and our palms are going to meet. As we exhale, we're going to lower our hands, stopping at our forehead, reminding ourselves to think our best thoughts. Bringing our thumbs to our lips, reminding ourselves to speak our best words. And bringing our hands to heart center, reminding ourselves to live our best lives. I want to thank you all for joining me today in this practice. I hope you feel renewed and refreshed and ready for the rest of your day. The love, the light, and the strength in me shines through and acknowledges the love, the light, and the strength in you. Namaste. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Again, next week is going to be our last week of classes. All of our recordings are up on YouTube, and the rest will be added there as well. So check those out if you want some more yoga or some different classes. Thank you and have a great weekend.